Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. Hokey smokes, another day. Yeah, time doesn't stop as long as there's things. Well, time is weird. I mean, time is affected by gravity, but, gravity is caused by time as well, since time travels slower in gravity wells, and the closer you are to a gravity well, the slower time travels. So your feet are traveling slower through time than your head, which changes your acceleration vector through time downward, which drives us into matter. So that's one level of gravity. But now I can't even remember what I was talking about and why I went into that, because that came out of nowhere. Oh yeah, time and all that. Yeah, that's part of another thing I'm working on, my whole cosmic horror framework stuff. But still, thumbs up. Welcome to a brand new day. I have some things written down on my topics list. I slept moderately well last night. Might as well start with that one because I slept moderately well. It was very cold, and of course I was up at like 5, so laid in bed as long as I could, and then got up. Bored, awake, tired, hurting, so up and running around at 5:30 a.m. Yay! But at least I slept, and it was not cold yesterday, but not warm either. And today the maximum heat is supposed to be like 71, so thumbs up for that. Ever since the heat wave from the heat dome in this area broke, it's been pretty good for the Pacific Northwest Shelton area. Every place else around us is like still slammed and stuff, and yay. I need to change the filter on my sleep apnea machine. I keep waking up wheezing, so there's so much junk in the air that it's getting through the filter. Yay. And I check the air quality thing every morning online. It says excellent, but I'm a wheezing, and I don't wheeze unless there's a lot of junk in the air. And still, when I go outside, it says excellent, but there's still smoke. It's still hazy a couple blocks out, so excellent is as excellent does. Past that, not a whole lot happening, but I do want to talk about spiders. Because I have mentioned how that there is a big sort of sky mansion back there of the gangly leg spiders. They put up a big web, cobwebby type web that's all in this area. It's pretty large, it's extensive. And I think that's pretty cool. I've been looking at it lately and just thinking, gosh, they've all died. They've all died or moved on. Why let it stay there if there's no one living there? Well, this morning I came in, turned on the light, went over there to check, and there was a gangly leg spider, one of the ones that was there before, and is protecting its egg sac. So I was just standing there and watching it with a big old smile on my face because she was still alive. And spiders can see. They have, depending on the species, there are some versions of like tarantulas that you can wave your hand in front of them, and as long as it's more than 2 inches out, they can't see the movement. They can't see any further than that. But there are also some that can see you from like, you open up the door and walk out your front door, and in the middle of your lawn, the spider goes, oh, and notices you. Well, this spider back there, I was just standing there and watching her, and she just suddenly started moving things and then crawled back behind the bookcase because I was there and I'm a danger, I'm a threat, so she needed to move to safety. Pretty good eyesight for something that small. Definitely a thumbs up on that. So she's back there. She's going to, hopefully her egg sac is going to hatch. I mean, it doesn't matter. I've had a couple of them hatch back there, the gangly leg ones, and you'll see them, the little tiny ones trying to live, but there's not a ton of insects. I mean, I get a fair amount coming in through the window back there, but even at that, there's not, the air isn't full, and so I don't know if they survive or not. But as well, this morning when I went down to the bathroom downstairs, because my bathroom's downstairs, I turned on the light, did my business, and then noticed that just above the light switch, because you open up the door, it's got a sliding door. Hey, how about that? You slide open the door, right there is the switches for the lights. And then in the corner, because it's right next to the corner, and just above, there's a little spider there. Now, even 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I almost got in there. I would have been able to get on my fingers because I was so arachnophobic. Now my first thought was, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't tear up part of her web. And I was just looking at her and just, again, big old smile on my face. So, thumbs up. I've always liked spiders. I've always thought they had a strange and alien beauty to them, but I've always been arachnophobic. But in the last 5 years, that arachnophobia has just melted. So thumbs up. Also, is just a really quick one. This is talking about the history of video games, because when I was younger, I got to watch things happen. I mean, there were no home arcade anything, no consoles when I was a kid. And then growing up, they started to come out. When I was getting into 10 and above, they started coming out with some of the home console stuff, like the Atari VCS, and that came out when I was a teen. But I had to go around, and I spent a lot of money in arcades and a lot of money wherever they had arcade games, and I just pumped my quarters in and I played. I was always a video game player. And then when I went into the Air Force, as stated, when I went into the Air Force in 1982, I went to Germany a year after and bought myself a VIC-20. First computer with big 4 kilobytes of RAM, 2 usable by the user. That was just a little much, so I traded that in, got a VIC C64, and then have worked since then. But 1983-ish, there was a video game crash in the United States. Now, I am grateful to Nintendo in that they saved the whole home console market in the United States. If it hadn't been for Nintendo, there would be the market and the whole landscape would look intensely different. Because they swooped in and they managed to keep things afloat. So I'm grateful to Nintendo for that. I missed the Nintendo console stuff and all that entirely because I was busy playing with my Commodore 64, and then I got an Amiga 1000 and then upgraded to an Amiga 500, and then in 1993ish I upgraded from that to an IBM PC clone, and then in 96 when the PlayStation 1 came out, well, it's like 97 or so, I bought one of those. So I skipped that entire generation of consoles between the Atari, the first one, the 2600, and the PlayStation. I've never really liked any of the Nintendo stuff, going back and trying to play them. I don't enjoy the Nintendo hard arcade stuff, where they made it hard just so that it would last longer, because they were so expensive. They wanted you to make you feel like you had your money's worth, so they were made Nintendo hard. Now then there's the angry video game nerd fellow. I've watched him through the years. Most of his stuff has been about Nintendo with a splattering of other things, and it's been interesting to see his change over the years. Because in the latest video, he finally admitted he said, looking back over the years of the Nintendo games, there were so many more bad ones than there were good ones. Like maybe 1, 2, 3% of all the stuff that came out for the Nintendo was good. Everything else was just garbage. So, thankful to Nintendo for keeping the console market alive. But primarily the stuff sucked. Sure, there was good stuff, and there's still stuff that is excellent, and that still holds up. A lot of the Final Fantasy stuff, the Dragon Warriors stuff, all those things are still all good. But really diamonds in the rough amid 99% dross. But also I wanted to talk about this one because someone in comments was asking me about, the whole cosmic horror framework stuff and Amaterasu and all that. I mentioned years back really fast, so I vaguely remember it, but I would be surprised if anyone else did. They said, is Amaterasu tough, but, is there anyone tougher? Is there this, that, and the other? A whole bunch of questions, but Amaterasu is tough. She's strong. That's why she has the title, the Gakira, most powerful. And she is tough in, raw strength. I mean, if all of her children ganged up, they could probably hurt her before she killed them all. She's strong. But sheer physical raw strength doesn't necessarily mean that you're strong. You have to be smart as well. And there are places that Amaterasu will not go, because she would just not survive that. There are beings that she will not even face because they have just so much more raw power than her. There are objects she will not touch because same thing, dangerous. And there are situations that she will not put herself into because probably won't survive it. The cosmic horrors have a listing of powers that they share with a whole bunch of other beings of power. Like, they can step from universe to universe, but that's cheap, that's easy, that's like a gimme. That's one of the first things that comes up. You can also change your time sense, and when you change your time sense, that you can be on a personal scale, or a planetary scale, or a solar scale, a galactic scale. You no longer exist as a physical being on the other scales. You still affect everything. Like if one of the cosmic horrors was here before us on our scale, we could see it, it could interact with us on a personal level. If it went to a planetary scale, it could still affect us, we would still all die, but it's working on a more planetary scale. We can't even see it. We don't have senses for that. They can impose their will, where for short periods of time, because they are not gods, matter is treated like Play-Doh, and their will is treated like a Play-Doh mold. And when they impose their will, it's like taking that mold and just going smush onto reality. They can maintain that for a while, default. But it becomes more and more effort, and the longer it goes, the more effort you have to put into it as things just start sliding back to their default state. But for a while, they can impose their will on reality that way. And there are other beings that can do that too. There are other things, other abilities they have, but there's one thing that they can do that no other being in the multiverse can. There are 13 beings in the entirety of an infinite multiverse. They can step to the infinite city just like stepping from universe to universe. The multiverse is a part of the city, but the city is not a part of the multiverse. The multiverse has its foundations sank into the multiverse, but it is not a part of the multiverse. So it's attached, but not really. There's no flow of anything between the two of them. The city is built on that foundation. There is that separation. But because Amaterasu swam through the Ungata, the void, and was able to land and hook into the city. Try to remember where I was going with this. Yes, because she was able to hook into and land there, and because her children were born there, they are attuned to the city. So at any time, from wherever they are, they can just step to the city. The city overlays the entirety of the multiverse, but is not a part of it. It is separate. They can step there. If something is horrific and threatening you and you could die, what makes more sense? Stay there, fight it, and die, or step to the city? When you step out of a universe, you are separated from its time stream. When you are separate from its time stream, 1 second could be 1 second. 1 second for you could be 1,000,000,000,000 years. Why fight when you can step to the city, do something idle for 5 minutes, and when you step back out, the universe where that big old thing was died a long time ago and was replaced by 1,000,000,000,000,000 other universes. So she's smart and she's powerful, and she just has to, oh, this is bad, gone and out. So yeah, there are places and things that she will not do because she does not want to be gutted like a trout and eaten from the inside. But she's the Gakira because she's smart as well as tough. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people. But not that there's been that many people that have left comments in a very long time, but up to a limit of that much. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. American English speaker. And even though I can't American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand with my depression, fibro, and more, I just don't have good memory. Getting better, but I still have a lot of issues. Ice Damon, thumbs up and thank you, and absolutely. Call 6 God, thumbs up and thank you, good to see you. RJ Scott, thumbs up, probably a good idea, but I don't even have enough money to buy food most months. Depressed Pengu, thumbs up. Fevel, thumbs up and thank you, good to see you as well. Garrett Wilson, I will have to do that. And Johnny K, thumbs up, and I have not. I'm going to have to look into that. And Matthias Humdahl, thumbs up and thank you. And then we have Christian Rodney, Stinky Brick Films, good to see you and thank you very, very much. And Denial, greatly appreciated. And yeah, I go through several times a day and get rid of all the spam comments. If the spam comment comes in immediately after I've finished, it happens. I get them, but Zachy uploads trash. Thumbs up and thank you. Sebastian Ferris, thumbs up and good to see you. Scott49140, greatly appreciated. A Bizarre YouTuber, thumbs up. Pacific Aviation, greatly appreciated. Each and every one of you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, and that is appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And since my hands are in the air and I don't know where on your screen the text description for the video would be, but inside the text description for the video I have links to things like Twitter and Facebook and Patreon.com. And if you could become a Patreon.com patron, like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. These people help keep me alive, and it is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to help me out without sending money, and I am kind of desperate, so if you can help, please, I have a PayPal link. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money, I have an Amazon wishlist link as well, which I do need to go through and update again. But no, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence, a definite thumbs up, and of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very cool, a definite thumbs up. Little Ghost, my hamster, is up and drinking water. I can hear him drinking. I'd reach over and grab him, but it's his sleepy time. He's been sleeping, he's just drinking, and I don't want to scare him. But he's up and drinking, so he's still healthy and alive, and that's a good thing. Definitely a thumbs up on that as well. Well, so Hokey smokes. I'm doing my best to stay creative and try and do as much as I can, and that's a good thing. So hopefully you're doing your best. That would be a good thing. And of course, I'm going to keep harping on this one because it's important. The Covfefe bug does not care about your freedoms. It does not care about your political affiliation. It is a virus. It is not a hoax. It wants to spread. It does that by water droplets coming out of your infected lungs. Please, whether you are vaxxed or not, wear a mask, wash your hands, try not to touch your face, maintain your social distancing, get vaxxed if you can. I'm going to sign up for the booster when it's available. Be smart. This is a virus. It doesn't care about anything but spreading. So you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is, well, quite frankly, a very good thing.